So what's going to happen next is Tyler Perry may try to challenge all or some of the claims in the complaint. There's holes in them. In these cases with a celebrity, there's always two big battles. One is in the courtroom and one's in the public arena.
The Oval actor Derek Dixon is suing Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios for alleged workplace sexual harassment, and battery. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Derek filed a lawsuit against Perry claiming that the filmmaker picked him out of a crowd at an event in 2019, asked for his phone number, and suggested that he might have a role for him. Dixon was later given a small role in 2 episodes in a show called Ruthless. But in January of 2020, he claims Perry invited him to his home, an invitation he accepted, and that the producer allegedly assaulted him.
Tell me a little bit about your life in Atlanta. We know very little about Tyler Perry's private life.
Yeah.
We know the studio, Gelila Bekele, girlfriend for many years.
Goddess, yeah.
How long have you been together?
Off and on, 2007 we met at a Prince concert. I guess this is happening, but there's no other person on this planet that I would want to be involved with or have a child with, because she's amazing.
Fans got a sweet glimpse into Bekele and Perry's relationship when the director opened up about their romance to People in 2017. At the time, their son was a toddler, and Perry explained, "There's no other person on this planet that I would want to be involved with or have a child with because she's amazing." Perry also shared the way he found out Bekele was pregnant and recalled to People, "I get a FaceTime call and she's holding up the pregnancy stick. I'm like, I guess this is happening."
Tyler Perry's baby mama is finally letting the truth slip. And trust me, it's messier than anyone expected. After years of staying out of the spotlight, Gelila Bekele seems to be lifting the curtain on what really went down between her and Tyler. We're not just talking relationship drama. This tea comes with receipts, potential legal twists, and even whispers of some wild, kinky details. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes story that's got everyone glued to their screens. From what's been said online, Galila's silence wasn't just about keeping things classy. It might have been a full-on escape plan. She's reportedly hinted that their split wasn't just a slow fade or a quiet goodbye. We're hearing about shady secrets, hidden sides, and even serious accusations. There's talk of harassment, manipulation, and leaked texts that are way too spicy for comfort. On top of that, some insiders claim male actors close to Perry started pulling away from his circle, almost like they knew something the public didn't. All of this is piling up, and Tyler's once spotless reputation, it's starting to crack under the pressure.
Armani, Tyler, Gelila.
Right here, sweetheart. Sorry, mute.
Also, often we forget when we see celebrities and people who've achieved so much, people like Tyler, we don't understand that middle point. You know a little bit of the beginning, you come from nothing and you build up to being this giant. But what did that gray area in the middle look like? And that really defines someone's success, right? Just of that dedication and not giving up.
Now, longtime fans will remember how private Tyler and Gelila kept things. They were never the red carpet couple, never gave the public much to work with. No engagement announcements, no wedding pics, just the occasional mention. Then one day, Tyler drops a random Instagram post saying he's 51, single, and thinking about his next chapter. No name drop, no real explanation, just poof, relationship over. At the time, it was brushed off as an amicable split. But people weren't buying it, especially not from someone like Tyler, who built his whole brand around heartfelt storytelling and emotional truth.
The media mogul, who is worth more than an estimated $1 billion, last publicly dated model and filmmaker Gelila Bekele.
This is Gelila.
Hi, Gelila. How are you?
Very wonderful, special, beautiful friend of mine.
They were together for more than 10 years and co-parent their 10-year-old son.
He's very special.
The silence just made things louder. For years, there's been speculation around Tyler's gender orientation, whispers that he was hiding something behind the church-going good guy image. And every time those rumors popped up, insiders say he reacted with anger, like the subject was off limits. That's when people started wondering, was Gelila more of a strategic partner than a romantic one? Was this all about image control? It wouldn't be the first time a celebrity kept up appearances to avoid public scrutiny. And on social media, folks started calling it what they believed it was, a cover-up relationship built to deflect the rumors.
Although Dixon says he rejected the advances, Perry continued expressing interest. After being cast in the Oval, Dixon alleges that Perry began sending aggressive text messages, some reportedly questioning his sexual orientation and stating that Perry has sex with men. TMZ reported that Dixon feared his career would be jeopardized if he rejected Perry or reported the harassment, so he responded by saying he simply wasn't Perry's sexual type.
Tyler and Gelila never addressed the rumors head-on, but the silence only made people talk more. The fact that neither of them shut it down, that just added fuel to the fire. One user even threw shade online saying Tyler was still pretending to like women and would probably come out just like Da Brat did. Then boom, Derek Dixon's lawsuit dropped, and suddenly all those whispers people used to shrug off started sounding a lot more real. Gelila's quiet exit from the relationship stopped looking casual. It started looking smart, like she knew what was coming, and dipped out before it all blew up.
So what's going to happen next is Tyler Perry may try to challenge all or some of the claims in the complaint. There's holes in them. In these cases with a celebrity, there's always two big battles. One is in the courtroom and one's in the public arena.
But what really shook people weren't just the accusations, it was the nitty-gritty details. Derek claimed Perry first approached him acting like he was just offering career help. Classic Hollywood, I'll make you a star vibes. But it didn't stay professional for long. Things reportedly turned creepy fast. Derek said Perry began sending late-night texts that got real suggestive real quick. One of the viral messages allegedly said something like, "I would fry you, and I haven't been touched in months." That's not just cringe, that's crossing lines. And suddenly those old rumors about Perry's private preferences had receipts. Names, texts, even court filings. That's when Gelila's name started trending again. People began looking at her breakup with fresh eyes. If Derek's story is true, then maybe Gelila wasn't just walking away from a relationship, maybe she was running from something deeper. Some gossip even says she knew about Perry's private lifestyle but kept it quiet to protect their child, her reputation, or maybe even his empire. But when that lawsuit hit, she didn't jump in to defend him. She didn't make a post, release a statement, or even like a shady tweet. She just stayed quiet. And now, that silence feels like a choice. Like she already saw the mess coming and chose peace over PR.
Got the whole world in his hands. Hey, I'm just sitting here on my porch just looking. What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. For my help? Some of y'all know the rest. I just wanted to come on and just tell everybody, just be as calm as you can.
Now, all of the rumors that used to stay buried in forums and anonymous tips are out in the open. And at the center of it all, this lawsuit. Derek's timeline is crystal clear. He met Perry at an event in 2019. Perry took notice, got his number, and started dropping hints about casting opportunities. Eventually, Derek got a role and thought things were going well, until they weren't. A year later, he says Perry invited him to his Atlanta home, supposedly for mentorship or a career push. But things took a turn. Derek says the night ended with too many drinks, him sleeping in the guest room, and waking up to Perry touching his thighs. He says he didn't shut it down right away, but from that point on, the whole vibe was off.
According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Derek filed a lawsuit against Perry claiming that the filmmaker picked him out of a crowd at an event in 2019, asked for his phone number, and suggested that he might have a role for him. Dixon was later given a small role in 2 episodes in a show called Ruthless. But in January of 2020, he claims Perry invited him to his home, an invitation he accepted, and that the producer allegedly him. The documents state Dixon drank too much and ended up sleeping in a guest room, where Perry allegedly got into bed with him and began touching his thighs.
Now to legal news and the $260 million sexual assault lawsuit just filed against Tyler Perry. The media mogul calling it a shakedown.
It's really, really unfair.
The suit was filed by actor Derek Dixon, who appeared in 85 episodes of Tyler's drama, The Oval.
I really needed this job.
Things only got messier from there. According to Derek Dixon, Perry didn't back off. In fact, the messages kept coming, but they started to feel way more intense. They weren't just friendly texts anymore. They were charged, personal, and full of tension. Some of those messages have since leaked online, and they are wild. One reportedly said, no straight man would be walking or cooking with someone unless they wanted to sleep with them. Then straight up said, I would F you. Another message allegedly asked what would it take for Dixon to have intercourse without feeling guilty. It was clear the vibe had shifted, and not in a good way.
His filing includes screenshots of 19 alleged text exchanges between him and the studio head, including one where Tyler asks, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless?"
Are you jealous?
The actor alleges in one instance, the 55-year-old forcibly pulled off his clothing and attempted to force himself on him. Also as leverage, the suit alleges Tyler had Derek's character shot, leaving his survival up in the air as a cliffhanger.
But what really threw people was the character Perry gave Dixon on his show. Dixon played a gay homeless man who traded intimate favors for shelter. And according to him, that role wasn't just fictional. It reflected exactly what Perry was trying to make happen in real life. Dixon said Perry made it clear he wanted someone who was loyal, submissive, and completely dependent on him. By that point, Dixon felt cornered. He didn't want to lose his role, but the situation made him feel unsafe. He says he tried to set boundaries, told Perry he wasn't that kind of guy, but the text kept showing up anyway. And then came the breaking point. Dixon said that in 2020 he went to visit Perry again, thinking maybe this time would be about work or closure. But instead, Perry allegedly asked if he liked it rough in bed, then grabbed him by the throat and said, "Look how excited you just got." Dixon said he pushed him away and left immediately. But the situation didn't end there. He claims that later on, Perry entered his guest room wearing only underwear, pulled his shorts down, touched him, and whispered for him to relax and just let it happen. Dixon says he quickly shifted the conversation, trying to defuse the moment and get out safely. By 2024, Dixon had enough. He officially filed a complaint with the EEOC, quit the show, and hit Perry with a lawsuit. And just like that, things got legal. Perry's lawyer clapped back fast, saying Dixon was setting up a scam and trying to manipulate the situation for a payout. But Tyler himself, not a word. And coming from a man known for being loud and emotional in his movies, that silence was deafening.
Tyler's attorney calls the claims fabricated, adding this is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam.
The fact that there's a lawsuit probably means they couldn't agree to a settlement.
To a lot of people, that silence wasn't just damage control, it looked like a sign, especially for those who think Gelila, Tyler's ex, already knew what was up and left before it exploded. For them, Dixon's lawsuit didn't just shake Perry's image, it confirmed what Gelila had already seen up close. Insiders close to both sides say Gelila had concerns long before this ever hit headlines. They say she noticed red flags, late-night meetings, strange closeness with male staff, and growing emotional distance. Word is she'd already been uncomfortable with the secretive energy around Perry, but once rumors of inappropriate relationships started floating around, she was done. That was when she walked and never looked back.
I guess this is happening, but there's no other person on this planet that I would want to be involved with or have a child with, because she's amazing.
A lot of folks think the real breaking point might have been those messages we're all seeing now in Dixon's case. Word is Gelila may have seen or at least heard about those texts Tyler allegedly sent to other men, the kind that totally crossed professional lines. Mix that with the pressure of keeping up a picture-perfect public image, and yeah, it's easy to believe she finally said, "I'm done," and got out before it got messier.
Fans got a sweet glimpse into Bekele and Perry's relationship when the director opened up about their romance to People in 2017. At the time, their son was a toddler, and Perry explained, "There's no other person on this planet that I would want to be involved with or have a child with because she's amazing." Perry also shared the way he found out Bekele was pregnant and recalled to People, "I get a FaceTime call and she's holding up the pregnancy stick. I'm like, I guess this is happening." Amon was born in 2014, but the public has not seen much of him.
Now, even though Gelila hasn't said a word publicly, gossip blogs swear she's been low-key supporting the legal process behind the scenes. She stayed completely quiet, no defending Tyler, no rushing to clean up the mess, and honestly, that silence speaks volumes. People are reading between the lines and they're not missing the message. Insiders say she's kept her distance ever since walking away. She's focusing on her own thing now, activism, modeling, and raising her son away from the chaos. Some think she left before the media storm hit because she saw it coming. Others think she just got tired of keeping up the act. But either way, that so-called peaceful split is looking more like a well-planned exit. And if Derek's claims turn out to be real, then Gelila might just be the woman who got out before it all fell apart. Once that lawsuit dropped, the internet exploded. Receipts were flying, screenshots, court documents, alleged texts, you name it. And social media instantly split in two. One side was ready to cancel Tyler Perry. The other side was calling the whole thing a money grab. Some were genuinely shocked. Others rolled their eyes and said they'd seen it coming. One tweet said they had no idea Tyler was gay. Someone clapped back saying he'd been fruity for years. But the only surprise was that it was finally in court. But this wasn't just surface-level drama. It stirred up some real questions, especially in the LGBTQ+ community. Was Tyler wrestling with his identity? Was all of this about suppressed gender orientation turning toxic? Or was this just another celebrity shakedown wrapped in drama and dollar signs? Not everyone was buying the story. A few folks said the text didn't scream criminal, they just looked like awkward flirting. One commenter said the message felt more like dry small talk than anything serious, but that people are too quick to believe anything controversial about a black man. Another person suggested it sounded like an older dude trying to guide a closeted younger guy. Sure, maybe a little fruity, but not predatory. Still, there were plenty of people who backed Derek Dixon completely. They pointed out how Perry cast him in a role that basically mirrored the situation he's now accusing him of. The messages weren't just weird, they were personal. One person even wrote, Perry was Derek Dixon, based on how those texts read. Of course, then came the backlash aimed at Derek. Some people felt the whole thing was too perfectly timed. They said the messages didn't show anything explicit, no clear demands, no direct lines crossed in the screenshots. One skeptic flat out said, Derek Dixon is lying, because they didn't see hard proof. Even with all the back and forth online, there's still one thing people can't ignore, the pattern. The way Derek was cast, the text that surfaced, even the character he played felt like it hit a little too close to home. Some folks are saying it didn't feel like just bad luck, it felt targeted, like someone wrote a role around his real-life vulnerability, and that's just plain disturbing. And if you think this is too wild to be true, think again. This isn't the first time this kind of story has floated around. Years ago, actor Christian Keyes dropped a quiet bomb. He didn't name names, but the clues were loud enough. He spoke about a major Hollywood name trying to get him to spread them cheeks just for a role.
Actor and writer Christian Keyes is now being mentioned in the lawsuit that Derek Dixon has filed against Tyler Perry for and battery. So earlier today, we reported to you that Derek Dixon, a former actor that was on Tyler Perry's The Oval, is suing Tyler Perry, accusing him of touching him without his consent. But a lot of people have been mentioning the name Christian Keyes. You may recall, I think it was last year that Christian Keyes did a live on social media and talked about a very popular black billionaire that has been him for years. However, no one has heard anything from Christian Keyes since.
And let's be real, nobody had trouble connecting the dots. Things really heated up when that photo popped up online. Tyler Perry on a yacht with Brian Tanaka, Mariah Carey's ex. That's when people say Derek Dixon finally snapped. Word is he thought he was the favorite, then saw that pic and realized he was just part of a rotation. And this, it's not just online gossip anymore. It's starting to look like a pattern that goes way deeper. Powerful men allegedly dangling career opportunities to manipulate and silence people, crossing personal lines like it's part of the script. What used to be whispers in Hollywood circles is now full-on shouting from people who say they've lived it. According to Derek, Tyler wasn't mentoring, he was allegedly running his own casting couch in disguise. One minute acting like a blessing, the next turning cold and threatening. That wasn't just a line being crossed, that was someone stomping all over it. And the vibe behind those texts, it wasn't cute or casual. It came off jealous, obsessive, like someone who couldn't handle hearing the word no. If it all sounds too familiar, it should, because Christian Keyes lived through a nearly identical experience. Years ago, he talked about being drunk after a party and crashing in someone's guest house. That night, he says, the same Hollywood figure climbed into bed with him uninvited. Christian pushed him away, but the man came back later, this time trying to grope him during a handshake.
In regards to those statements. Well, now, if you look at the lawsuit, Christian Keyes' name is mentioned. And they say, in fact, it is alleged that Christian Keyes and others may have been subjected to the same harassment, and TPS, Tyler Perry Studios, knowingly covered up the harassment to protect Mr. Perry. TPS allegedly took actions against Mr. Keyes, including but not limited to paying Mr. Keyes a certain sum of money and threatening him if he disclosed Perry's harassment. If you remember the videos that we did on Christian Keyes, back then, it seemed as if he was about to go to law enforcement with his accusations. But subsequently, we haven't heard a thing since then.
But here's where it gets even messier. Christian says he recorded everything. He claimed he had audio of this man talking openly about paying young black men to be on standby, not for mentorship, not for friendship. It was like some sick subscription service behind the scenes in Hollywood. Christian eventually walked away, saying he didn't want to be remembered for that. His own brother told him once those tapes are out, you can't erase it. That kind of exposure stays stuck to your name. And now, with everything going down, fans are drawing the lines between Christian's old story, the current lawsuit, and even the Diddy drama. Just like Cassie's lawsuit lit the fuse over there, people are starting to think Derek Dixon's case could blow the lid off this whole situation. And what about Gelila? Whether she dipped out quietly for peace or walked away because she saw the storm building, either way, she got out. The internet isn't letting this one fade. People have picked sides, and the noise is only growing. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry, still not saying a word. That silence, it's making everything feel louder.
Tell me a little bit about your life in Atlanta. We know very little about Tyler Perry's private life.
Yeah.
We know the studio,
Yeah.
Gelila Bekele, girlfriend for many years.
Goddess. Yeah.
How long have you been together?
Off and on, 2007 we met at a Prince concert. Prince was performing at the Roosevelt Hotel in a small room, and she walked in, and I was like, "Who's that girl?" Yeah.
And how did you ultimately know that this was the person you wanted to build a life with?
When I got a call on FaceTime, it was so strange. I was in the very arena that I had played, and I got the test results back, the DNA test, saying that
His name is front and center right now. Maybe Gelila stepped away for her own sanity, or maybe she knew something that the rest of us are just now finding out. But what's certain is, this story is nowhere near the end. This one's messy, and it's only going to get messier. Whether Gelila saw the red flags early or dipped out just in time, one thing's clear. The spotlight on Tyler Perry isn't going anywhere. So what do you think? Is this the beginning of his empire cracking, or just another Hollywood scandal that'll blow over? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading all of them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next chapter, because trust me, this story's still unfolding.